Well, I've got kind of a little different project today. This was brought in by someone who lives here in Joliet. And it's a little box that is made to contain a kitchen knife and a sharpening steel. It's been routed out inside to contain both the knife and the steel. And it's a solid piece of wood. I guess this was made in Brazil. I don't know what type of wood it is, and the owner didn't know what it was either. But when it was sent up from Brazil to Montana, because there is such a humidity change, you can see the warp that happened, and it just doesn't fit together well anymore. So, knowing that I do a lot of steam bending, or did, he came in and asked, could I put this in my steamer and perhaps soften it back up again and make it flat? Well, that's possible, but you know, I don't do a lot of steaming. You can see the curve that it has here. It's got some pretty severe warping to it. So I have played a little bit in the past, as you well know, on my stove. And I'm kind of wondering if I can put this on the top of my stove and heat it up and kind of flatten it out. Now he brought in kind of a clamping affair, like so, and actually have two of these. And the thought was, could I put them between these two clamping boards and kind of squish them together to hold them flat? So that's what I'm going to try. So my vise here that I use on my bench for a lot of woodworking doesn't give me enough room to put a couple pipe clamps on each side of this. So I'm actually going to take this back to my welding table because I have more clearance there. So this is kind of my plan of attack. If I can hold the bottom of this clamp in my vise, and once I heat these two pieces up, I left the clip that actually kind of holds these two together, kind of a little light hasp. I took the hinges off, but this is going to help me know the position. I'm going to put them in between here. And I have a couple pipe clamps here. I'm just going to come on each side and try to compress this down to where it is flat. Will it work? I am hopeful, just from past experience of things that I have done like this. So I don't know what type of wood this is, but we'll see if that concept works. If there's enough moisture inherent in this wood, if I add enough heat to it, can I cause these fibers to move enough so this box would become more functional? Right now it's kind of a mess. So I found a couple brackets that holds shelving onto a wall that I don't use anymore. So I'm going to put those here to lay that wood on so it's not directly right on this stove. Hopefully there's not too much distance there. The hottest part of my stove is right here, so I'm going to put them here. And I'm going to kind of do the rotisserie thing like I've done on some past videos. Keep rotating these back and forth. And I'll try to get them so hot that they are not comfortable to hold on to with a bare hand. From past experience, I don't think this will take real long. We're about 11:15 right now. Now, I didn't know what kind of finish was on here, but I gave him forewarning. It's probably going to get ruined. But he's going to refinish and sand and do all that kind of stuff. The big thing right now is just to get them flat, or as close as we can. When I've done this in the past, I try to overbend the opposite direction to allow for any spring. I'm not sure I'll be able to do that. I'm going to try just to compress them flat, and if I have to come back and try to overbend, I'll have to figure that out at that time. Starting to get kind of hot. Sometimes I wonder if I should have one of those thermo checking guns type of deal. And I could actually see what the temperature of that wood is. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got some smoke or something either from the wood or from the finish that's raising up off of this. I think we're probably close enough. I might just give her a try. They've been on the stove almost for 15 minutes, about 13 or 14 at this point. I think we'll go just about like so and see what we've got. Not sure what's cracking. I got her about as tight as I can go. We'll just have to let her cool and see what we end up with. Pretty straight on the back side too. Just a big sandwich clamp, huh? So one of these, I don't remember if it was the top or the bottom, had a twist, kind of opposite direction twist, and one of them had a bow front to back or longitudinally. But one of them had a little cup like this as well. Again, I don't remember if it was top or bottom. That is the most difficult one to get to relax without cracking. That possibly is those pops that I heard as I was tightening this down. I'm just going to give her an hour or so. We'll come back and see what we got. Well, we've been right at an hour. I think I'll go give her a try. It's really hard to tell if there's much heat on it. On the outside, it doesn't feel like there's much. Guess we'll know if I take that off and feel what the top and bottom actually feel like. There's some crunch in there, huh? Well, they're better, but they're not 100%, is it? Got some rock in there. don't know if we gained a lot or not. So if I just put the top lid on, judging by that little hasp there, I think I'm going to try to do this individually. If I put a little prop under here and a little prop under this end, I can maybe twist that past. Let's see if I can get that pulled out a little better. I'm actually going to use the table on my bandsaw here as a flat table to work on. And I'm going to see if I can over twist these to try to get this twist back out. I'm not real surprised that just holding these flat didn't work real well. So you can see the amount of twist that it has. Well, I'm going to clamp this end solid, and I'm going to actually prop this corner up a bit and try to bring this end down with a secondary clamp and see if I can over twist this the opposite direction of where it's at now. Because this is a cold iron table, I am going to put a little wood shim underneath that. This is just an 1/8 inch bending ply to try to keep away from having this heat sink effect, and clamp it here initially and then do my overbend. So I'm going to do that with the second piece as well. One side isn't too bad for being straight. The other side has a little bit more of a curve in it. So it'll be a similar type of an approach. Just going to shim it a little bit different to try to get this hump out and then put a counter twist to the twist that's there. So we'll put some heat back into these again. We'll see how this approach goes. Got a 1/4 inch shim under this side. So I'm twisted the other direction about as far as it was initially. And this other one, I'm going to clamp this side solid. I have this corner built up, and I'm putting a single block under this side here to counteract the bend that's lateral. Well, these are both cold. Let's see what kind of damage it did. I'm not making much headway, am I? The last thing I'm going to try before I actually put it in the steamer is I clamped it to the edge of my stove. I'm going to add some moisture in a wet rag on top and just give it some time to maybe absorb some moisture and see if we can't get something to move. Well, I left this set all night. The first thing in the morning, I haven't started a fire yet. And it's plumb cold, so we'll see what happens. I let this set for 3 or 4 hours yesterday. I put that top rag on it, remember? Kept it moist. It's not 100%, but it's lots better than it was. Got some charring on it because it was right on the stove. We've got some 220 here, just kind of taking off some of those water stains from that rag. So he's gonna have to refinish this anyway. I'm just gonna take my belt sander, and I'm not gonna turn it on. I just want to use it as a flat surface. See if I can get this a little closer to setting flat. I think that helps it a bunch. And I took a little off of this corner and it took a little off of that corner. It really laid that out to where it's much flatter than it was. Well, this is the top. And it actually sets pretty flat. This is the bottom. And it's not so much. But I'll see if the long, slow approach will help this as well. So I'll get a fire going and just try to let this absorb some moisture like I did this one. Well, I did the same thing to the bottom of the box. See if we made any headway. Oh, we're much better, much better. A little bit of rock, but the same planing. I think we can fix that. Yeah, just a little bit of rock, but it's a fraction of where we were before. So I put these together now. We're pretty solid all the way around, except for a little bit in this corner. We came a long ways. Need a new pair of hinges to go on here. We actually salvaged this box. You want to think about what all we went through. It's kind of along the concept of annealing steel. When I do a weld on some steel, the last step I like to do is what I call annealing, and bring it all up to a red hot, and then just let it cool off real slow and real natural. Well, that's kind of what we ended up doing with this box. Bringing up to heat on the stove, but a little bit of adding that moisture with the damp rag, and then just letting it cool down slow overnight. Actually, I think the combination of all those things helped relax this wood. That's how you learn. Experiment. Anyway, appreciate you coming along. Thanks for watching.